In this episode of Negative Modifier, we were playing the game Kult Divinity Lost. Kult Divinity Lost by design involves content, themes, and situations that may be uncomfortable or triggering for some listeners, and is most definitely not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised, and we really do mean that this time. Hey there, Charlie here. On behalf of the whole cast and crew of Negative Modifier, thanks for giving us a listen. If you enjoy the episode, please consider giving us a rating or reviewing us on your listening platform of choice, or liking this episode if you're enjoying this on YouTube. It only takes a few seconds and it helps us find new people to inflict our signature brand of madness upon. If you want to support the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. And if you're looking to chat with the cast, other listeners, or get the most up-to-date news about the podcast, check out our Discord channel. Both are linked down below in the show notes. And with that all said... You're all together, you can go back into the ship, you can try and swim out at this point. You actually haven't really investigated around that. Keep in mind you have a fairly wounded Dr. DeHamre, you have a Franklin Mills who's not exactly doing the best since he's near drowning, like he's not in great shape. What do you want to do, I guess, at this point?
Okay, should we try to swim out or should we go out through the top?
I mean, we can try just, I want to kind of just look around. What would be the fastest way out of where we're trying to get out of? Would it be like swimming out of there, or what was the other route you mentioned?
I mean, like, you can kind of maybe try and go back the way you came, but also keep in mind the way you came was weird and kind of labyrinth in a weird way. Like, there was definitely something odd about how you got here type of thing. Almost like the ship was kind of shifting around you.
I think the best move is to literally just kind of move forward, because if we try to backtrack, my mindset, I guess, just to explain before I go into character again here, is like I'm thinking like backtracking is probably a bad idea. So I'm going to go to move forward. So I look over and I'm going to say, I think this is going to suck, but I think backtracking is just not the play. I think if we just keep moving forward until we hit a wall, and then just kind of work our way from there, probably our best bet. But because otherwise we don't know if we're running circles, and we don't have the luxury of time on this right now.
Agreed. Okay, so do you remember rescue swimming? Remember how you're supposed to do that?
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little hurt, but I'll try my best.
Right, you take the Hamre. I will help Franklin.
Okay.
What about your small, pink-jacketed companion?
Fuck. I forgot about her. I'm gonna, snap in front of Franklin. I'm gonna say, hey, Franklin, hey, can you swim?
Slowly nods. He's like, yeah, I can swim.
Okay. Just stay between Aiden and myself. And if you start struggling, we'll help you out, okay?
Yeah, sure. I kind of looks out at the hole in the side of the ship. Okay.
You gotta wake up, okay? She's coming.
Yeah, I know she is. This is all her bullshit, ain't it?
Yeah. All right. Kostrov, you go first.
All right. So I am going to position the Hamre onto the water, get in a good spot, and slowly start to position them, I guess, for the for rescue swimming, and then start to slowly kind of test the waters, if you will, to make sure I can do it safely. Sure. And still in my in my condition, if you will.
Yeah, give me an act under pressure as you're trying to kind of do this.
Okay. Success. You do what you intended. 15 roll.
All right. So, yeah, you're doing this. How rapidly do you get in the water, Detective Jenner?
I push Franklin to go, and then I go after Franklin.
Sure. So you're pretty quickly in the water?
Yeah.
All right. So as you're doing that, also give me an act under pressure before I get too deep into this.
9 failure.
All right. So you're getting tired, and you're not quite sure why. Maybe it's a long distance, and Kostrov, you realize that despite the fact that you've been swimming for 5-10 minutes, you're maybe 30 feet away from where you started.
30 feet?
Yeah, like you're just not moving anymore. Like you're not feeling some current pushing you back, but like you're definitely moving forward, but like you're not moving away from the ship. And both of you give me a see through the illusion.
Okay.
Fail.
I rolled an 8. See through the illusion, failure.
Yeah, so you're not quite piecing it together, but like something feels off. You should see something. When you look around, there should be something else there. You're not quite sure why, but like you see all the stuff that's supposed to be there, but it's almost like it's off in the distance, like a backdrop or something. Like it's not, something about it just seems off. And with that, we're going to jump into the unconscious mind of Dr. DeHamre.
Oh.
What are Dr. DeHamre's unconscious dreams like? You've been shot. Today has gone very strange. Like, in this moment of being trapped in your own mind via passing out from severe injury, what's that mental space like?
I would imagine in her kind of unconscious mindset, let's pepper in some Catholic guilt, right?
Sure.
So let's pepper in some Catholic guilt and let's kind of put her into a purgatory-esque situation where it's almost as if it's like, all right, here's the waiting room to the waiting room and whatnot. But here's the thing. She did just meet the living bodies of her victims. So I'm going to imagine that Dr. Domri is kind of now, I don't know, being faced with her great sins and is probably just kind of in a very weirdly silent, but like palpably silent room, field, whatever have you, space with the still figures of
Sure.
her former patients.
May I suggest something?
Go ahead.
Would it possibly be that like her mind would retreat to somewhere, maybe like a church base or something, like a support group was meeting or something like that, and all the people there are her past victims, and she's stuck in like an awkward moment in between someone saying something either too emotional, like that kind of awkward moment that happens when you have a group of people, like it just lingers forever.
Actually, even better, let's go with the high school youth group.
Perfect.
So it's so she's sitting down in the high school youth group room and part of the weird little easy setup chairs and whatever the heck have you. And I would imagine the pulpit is empty, or it could be that there is a figure kind of going through motions in what kind of seems like a weirdly... Have you ever been in a room where like the acoustics are off, so you know someone's speaking, but like you just can't pinpoint because there's so much weird echo or like it's just not traveling far enough?
Sure.
Like I feel like that's happening, right? Where like someone's like literally like 10 feet away from you, but like you just can't.
And there's definitely a figure at that pulpit.
Cool.
Yeah, so you are unconscious, so I'm going to say that you're probably like trapped in this awkward silence type of thing. Like it's an awkward sense you almost feel. What's going through your head as you kind of find yourself here of all places? And I guess to remind you, all of your victims that you've seen manifest are showing their chosen suicide method like in the worst way possible. Like none of these are easy visages to look at.
No, not at all. And especially with peppering in Catholic guilt, you've damned their souls for all eternity.
Indeed.
Or not you, me. I've
Yeah.
damned their souls for all eternity for my own personal gain or pleasure. So I think it's kind of this sort of thing where she is experiencing that sort of judgment, or it's like almost like your life kind of flashes before your eyes as you die or before you die. But like this is just on loop, or she's stuck here. Like it'll go again, and then it just kind of whips back to this sort of scenario. where
Sure.
like, because this is where all the things that she's left is still instilled, and this is the foundation that was kind of poured that she can't really escape from and whatnot. And then this is kind of like where she's relating her entire life to these ideals and concepts that she just can't.
So when you say looping, is it like actually looping, as in like 15 seconds pass and it starts over again and she's actively aware of that progression happening, or is it just kind of stuck?
I feel like it's because you can't, like, there's sometimes you experience like a thought process, but you kind of go back to a thing, or it's almost as if like she's been in this specific service, and every single time she tries to drift away, it almost feels as if it's like a fleeting memory, and it's like almost like this is what's trying to solidify as like what is her reality.
But there is like a rewind feeling to it almost.
Yes.
Right.
Like people leave because the service is over, but then like everyone's sitting back down again, and it's almost,
yeah, it just picks up back at another spot again, right at the kind of near start or something. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so this goes on for a while. You sit through hundreds of the same service, and hours, maybe technically days pass, depending how long the service is in your mind. And slowly but surely, kind of the figure on the pulpit slowly gets closer and closer to you, until you eventually just kind of feel large hands wrap around your neck and a voice from behind you. It's not over yet, Caitlin. You still have a chance to get out of here.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm being judged.
Do what I want, Caitlin, and you can get out of here free of judgment.
Anything. Just anything.
That's what I like to hear, darling. And the force just kind of shoves you forward as you hit the floor, you wake up, but also give me a keep it together.
Oh yeah, I'm floating right now. Partial success. I rolled a 13, so the effort to resist instills a condition which remains with you until you have time to recuperate. You get -1 in situations where the condition would be a hindrance to you. Choose one. I'm either angry, scared, sad, guilt-ridden, obsessed, distracted, or I could be haunted by this experience at a later time. Guilt-ridden seems very on the nose.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to push for a -1 stability on that, so lose 1 stability. What does that bring your stability down to at this point, out of curiosity?
Funny enough, shaken.
Good to know. Yeah, so you violently wake up and you're kind of flailing in kind of Kostrov's arms. Kostrov, how do you respond to Dr. Dahamra just kind of like something snapping out of it?
On seeing that reaction, I try to like release them as safely as possible without like hurting them, and I'm like, oh,
Sure.
fuck. Basically, like, because I'm caught off guard, but yeah. I basically just throw them off me, and then I try to like get their attention. Be like, hey, you're in the water, you're okay. Like, hey. Like, to kind of I guess like stop them from flailing, if you will.
Sure. Give me an influence other to see if you can kind of positively impact the situation.
Okay. Failure. 3.
Dr. Dahamre, how does Officer Kostrov make this one worse?
So, from my perspective, I just got shot, and now I'm in, like, water where I don't have anything to touch, and I'm struggling for life because I'm severely, like, wounded, and, like, I'm just coming to. So I am in, like, a fight or flight, it's, like, survive mode and whatnot. I'm probably going to attempt to latch on to the closest floating thing next to me. I don't know how far you pushed me, but much like how, what's it called? Sometimes lifeguards will just straight up let someone struggle until they have no more energy, so that way they don't co-drown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be now a hindrance to whoever is going to be swimming close to me and whatnot. I'm panicking and I'm kind of flailing around. My body hurts. There's salt water now in my gut bullet holes. I'm freaking out, trying to make sure that I can breathe when I don't know what's going on. And I'm going to look around me, and I'm going to swim and grab the closest person. Who is that?
Probably Officer Kostrov. He is the one that was kind of holding on to you previously.
Gotcha. So more than likely, I'm probably going to grab him.
All right.
And use him to kind of keep myself afloat.
Give me an act under pressure. Both of you give me an act under pressure.
Okay. I failed with a 9.
Failed with a 5.
All right, so it becomes a mess. Like, the co-drowning thing you mentioned starts to become a very real possibility. Both of you give me an endure injury at 3.
Oof.
Partial success, 10.
I have a partial success with a 14.
All right, so Kostrov, I'm going to say in kind of the struggle, you lose your gun at some point as part of this. Like, you have someone flailing onto you. Dahamre, you're not getting any better type of thing. Like, you're still having a very hard time with the situation. Jenner, you've been watching all this, and this has all taken place over the span of probably, like, seconds. You have Lydia with you. You're kind of like keeping an eye on Franklin. What do you do in this moment? You also have the realization that despite swimming for a solid chunk of time, you didn't get that far from the ship. And that there's something definitely weird going on.
Okay. I know that I should not get next to either of them until they've tired themselves out.
Sure.
Or all 5 of us are going to start drowning. So I am keeping an eye out. I'm like, she like dunks her head under the water and looks back to the shore to see if anything changes, and then looks out to the horizon, dunks her head underwater, and is looking around, trying to make sense of the situation and waiting for the 2 of them to finish struggling. I mean, she does shout, like, you both need to calm the fuck down, but I don't think that's heard over the splashing and everything.
I mean, give me an influence others, see if you can calm them down some.
I'm not very good at this. Well, I rolled a 16. Success.
Yeah, so maybe you're the voice of authority in this moment, but you succeed. You kind of get the situation a little bit under control. Maybe it's your voice breaking through. Maybe it's just someone giving a direct instruction, but yeah.
Yeah, Jenner, like, defaults back into a cop giving a command to somebody when she shouts it.
Does that success work on both of us at the same time, or is that... Okay.
Yeah.
I would say at that point, Domri is just kind of slowing down and now is kind of treading water and trying to stay afloat as much as she can and just focus on that. But she's also still kind of pissed and whatnot, and just kind of screams out into the air, God fucking damn it. You brought me back. Help me. You want something? Help me. Fuck. And I'm kind of attempting to distance myself, but kind of stay close. At least I'm kind of trying to stay away from Kostrov.
So you've all heard Dr. Dahamre's accusation of... what's the right phrase for that? Bringing her back, I guess we'll go verbatim. What are people's reactions? Admittedly, Kostrov, she just may have almost accidentally drowned you, so that's a whole thing.
Well, I mean, since I was the one that was basically almost drowned for a second here, I'm kind of giving the space here, and I'm just like trying to make sure I get myself sorted out. So, yeah, I will. Yeah, I'm basically just kind of getting my footing, and I guess, well, my footing. I'm in the water, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what do you all want to collectively do at this point? You're kind of out in the water. You could very safely get back to the ship if you wanted to. Swimming does not seem to be the solution you were hoping it was going to be. Something is most definitely off about the situation you find yourself in. What are you thinking?
Jenner's just going to say, all right, we need to focus and think. And the Hamre, you pull any shit again, I'm not going to miss. You're not going to continue breathing. Okay? We need to work together to get the fuck out of whatever the hell this is.
Work together? Are you fucking kidding me? You dumbass. this isn't some sort of weird mass hallucination. There's literally something that's fucking with us, and it wants him dead. And I try to point at Franklin, but I kind of dive underwater because I'm treading water so poorly. And we could just all leave, or at least one of us could leave, if we just kill him.
We're all gonna leave, Dahamre. You don't get to decide who lives and dies.
Oh, says the cops.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, all right? Shut up, okay? You've been shot twice, all right? You were drowning him.
No thanks to you. We could have had a solved issue. I could have been free. I could have been back the fuck home. I could have had no more ghosts haunting me. I am done. I just wanted... I need to go. All
right. Deep breaths. And shut up while I think.
As Jenner is thinking, I want to kind of assess myself. Like, what is the status of my bullet wounds? Am I actively bleeding? Are there sharks? Is this place known for sharks?
No, there are no sharks in the Detroit greater area, thankfully. Maybe some carnivorous fish, but I wouldn't be too worried about them. So to answer your question, Kostrov and Jenner did an okay job of patching you up earlier. You're not going to, bleed out in the time and the immediate near future. That being said, patched you up. They didn't sew you. They used fabric to stop the bleeding of bullet holes, which is, in the best circumstances, not a great thing, especially when you add in water, which further dilutes the blood type of thing. You're not... As best you can tell, the bullets seem to have gone through and through, which is better than having them in you, which causes more problems. Again, to kind of use your character sheet as an exact example, you have... What is your wound status right now? You have a serious wound, I believe, yes?
Oh, yeah, that's a... I do have a serious wound.
Yeah. Using the mechanics of the game, if you sustain another one, you're probably going to die, but also, given how this game works, you can survive for enough time on a serious wound that you've been stabilized.
Where the hell are we? I know I got shot. Obviously, I got moved. But why am I in the water?
We're trying to get away from the ship. Jenner says as she swims up to the side of the ship and pounds on it. Just trying to hear how this sound reverberates around here, if at all.
I mean, the sound acts as normal. There's nothing off about that aspect of it. That does mean you're kind of 30 or so feet away. You swim away, though, correct? You're back at the ship trying to kind of investigate the ship?
Oh, I figured we were swimming along the ship towards the shore. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, that makes more sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, so, I stay nearby, but I do, knock on the hull of the ship. Great.
As I'm looking around, I don't remember if Domri knows that a child now showed up?
I mean, she's visibly there.
Okay. I'm not crazy, I think. I just needed to know this. Does anyone else see the kid? Or is it just me?
I think Jenner is swimming with the kid on, holding the kid up, no?
Yeah, that's roughly what I think we decided on.
Okay, you're physically interacting with the kid, so she's real. Where the fuck did we find a kid?
In the boat. All right, I don't think this is gonna work, which means we need to go back in and, I don't know, I guess just try to fight our way out.
Fight our way out how?
Fuck if I know.
I mean, this thing literally can move us around. What's stopping us from it moving us somewhere else once we get back on the ship?
We could just kill him. We could all just leave and kill Franklin and go back to our lives.
One of us gets to leave.
I was hoping you would forget that detail.
A for effort, I guess.
Look, fuck you. You shot me. I'm just trying to get through whatever the fuck's going on. I'm just trying to deal with the fact that Peggy from Peggy's Diner is trying to kill us right now.
Look, just be glad I was aiming not to kill, okay? I could have.
Yeah, you could have. You almost did. I'm still here. I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed. I'm going to figure out what the fuck to do. But obviously, you still have a gun.
Yeah, I do. So fuck around and find out.
I'm not gonna fuck around right now, but just watch your fucking back.
That is not something you should say to somebody with a gun.
I know you're not gonna shoot me again. You're too good of a person. I know it.
You do not know me.
I've read your file. It's not that bad. It's not.
I hate to say it, but you don't tell the guy who already shot you that he's not going to shoot you again when he already shot you.
Shot to incapacitate, not shoot to kill.
I have shot to kill plenty of times.
In front of the girl?
If you're going to kill me, yes. Or Franklin, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Fuck up her life. See how I care. Fuck. Okay, how do we get back? I'm tired of swimming. Jesus.
Okay, let's go. I want to just try to push on, but I don't think it's going to work. So let's go back.
Lead the way. I just woke up.
I'll take up the rear.
So I'm going to say something that the Officer Kostroff and Dr. DeHarmer, you may have noticed something about Lydia. Like, she does not talk. Like, she nods, she kind of seems to respond to the conversation that Detective Jenner has with you, but, like, you might expect a kid to make some, I don't know, noises of some kind, given the everything going on. Like, she doesn't make any sounds of exertion, given all the swimming. She doesn't complain about being cold this entire time. You're talking about her right now, and she's had physical reactions, like she's nodded, she's kind of grimaced to it, but she has not said a single thing.
Omri just either kind of thinks like, well, actually, she could kind of psychoanalyze that later, but I think she's more so too busy trying not to drown.
Sure.
I haven't noticed it initially, but I might notice it once I get closer to like. I guess I haven't made a like. I guess a fuss about it yet because
Sure.
there have been more matters at hand.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying that, like, given everything that's just happened, you two have noticed that Lydia does not talk.
Yeah.
All right, so back, I guess, to the ramp you used to get back in the water, or what's the plan at this point?
I think that would be ideal.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you make it back there. Okay, you kind of start getting your way up out of the water. Detective Jenner, I assume you're still in the back at this point?
Yeah, sorry, really fast. Is there like a rescue ladder on the side here that you can use to climb up to the...
There is not, no. That might be at like the way back or something, but also in large ships like that, that's be a thing that gets tossed over the side when needed.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm taking up the rear.
All right.
I'll take the front just because I have a feeling these two are not going to trust each other. So
Makes sense. So do you head back towards the interior, or are you just going to hang out here for a bit?
yeah, I'm just going to head back towards the interior, I guess. Yeah.
All right, so as you near the door to the inside of the ship again, in the reflection you and only you see Martha Mills' face, and she kind of looks at you disapprovingly and goes, "It's just one thing, Kostroff. You've already done it once. And then you get to go home to Amy and your son."
Is she standing in front of me, or is it just like
it's just her face
voice?
in like the porthole on the door?
Oh,
And as quickly as she says that, it goes back to being just normal kind of foggy glass.
okay. Well, as her face is disappearing, I kind of just want to yell at it, "Fuck off!" and then just kind of keep
Sure.
moving. So
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so you're back inside the ship. Do the rest of you follow or no?
Yes.
All right. You each get your own kind of little mini personalized hallucination. Detective Jenner in the back. As you're kind of passing a select kind of a collection of reflective surfaces, you see off to one side Martha Mills kind of walking next to you, and she goes, "Detective, is his life really worth all this?"
You want him to suffer? Let me throw him in prison. Then when he dies, you can have him.
It's not about him suffering. It's about him suffering at my hands. I need my baby boy back. And there's only one way to deliver him to me. You can have Lydia, and I'll give you back William even. You can be the hero out of all of this. Tell you what, I'll let the other two go with you as well.
Is there something I can roll to see if I think like she's telling the truth?
Yeah, give me a read a person.
I fail.
She seems sincere.
I'll think about it.
Dr. DeHamre. In various kind of puddles on the floor, you see an upside-down reflection of Martha Mills kind of walking on the upside down of the floor you're walking on right now. She kind of looks at where her watch should be and taps it a couple times and looks at you and goes, Doctor, our time is almost up. As quickly as she appeared, she seems to disappear.
Okay. So what I've gathered is she cannot find him alone, which means if we keep him close, I don't know, maybe each of us grabs onto his shirt and we follow him out, maybe she can't turn us around.
So, like, use him like the front of a ship or something?
I guess. I mean, I didn't think about it that way, but sure.
Why can't she find you? You've said that before. What did you do? Is it regarding, like, was it some sort of ritual?
He told me it was human sacrifice.
Franklin kind of smiles at this. He goes, you would not believe what I had to do to get away from my mother.
Okay. Lead the way.
Kind of like gestures frustrated. He's like, I was trying to get out of here before you found me. Like, it's just as much of a maze for me as it is for you.
Great. Start walking.
Wait. If she knows where we are and can find us, can't find him, wouldn't that just be so backwards? Should we not try to make sure she can't find us either? Do we have to kill somebody in order to be invisible, or is that something that, is there like another way?
On hearing all this, I look over and I'm like, okay, I have a crazy, stupid idea. Bear with me here. Everyone grab, like, either his forearm or his hand. Stay linked with him. For some reason, she can't see him. And if we're maybe in contact with this guy, maybe she can't see us after that.
Officer, you had a fucking front row seat to the reason that she can't find me.
I don't remember any of that.
Okay. What if this is like, fucking one of those movies, right? She wants him. Fucking, let's just drown him and revive him.
There's no guarantee we can bring him back, though.
I got shot twice and you dumped me in water. If you can do it for me, you can do it for this idiot.
Yes, I agree. But, like, I cannot think of another way out. It's a fucking maze that we don't have any control over. And Franklin's the expert, and he doesn't think he can get away. I don't think that we can. We've got to think weird.
You've been having this conversation out loud, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Franklin has heard all of this, and he is definitely having a reaction to that whole line of reasoning.
Okay, Franklin, what do you suggest? Huh? We just run around here for the next 10 years till one of us finally fucking dies?
Fuck if I know. All I know is she can't find me, but she can find the rest of you fuckers, apparently. And at this, he tries to just kind of make a bolt down one of the hallways.
Can I just shoulder check him? I mean, he's been half drowned and whatnot.
Yep, give me an engage in combat.
Is there any bonus since he's been through so much?
Nah, he's got kind of a jump on you on this moment.
7.
He's near me too. Like, he's near all of us, right?
You all have a chance to do something, yeah.
Okay, I would very much also like to fucking attempt to, like, pin his ass down or something.
Sure. Give me an engage in combat.
Partial success, 12.
All right. Are you doing anything, Dr. DeHamre?
I grab Lydia.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, so Officer Costa, if you manage to kind of like body check Franklin Mills against the wall as he's trying to make it when he kind of stumbles and falls some, looks at you kind of like, fuck. Like that, he's already on his last legs, but that kind of really hurt. Like that was a hard fall he took onto sharp, rusty metal type of thing. Maybe a couple pieces were stuck in him. Nothing life-threatening, but like he ain't doing so great. And he looks at you. Dr. Dahamre, you have grabbed Lydia.
The way I've grabbed her, my entire arm is now around her neck, and I have my hand on top of her head, and I'm looking directly at Detective Jenner.
Have I noticed?
I mean, this all feels pretty obvious. Like, Lydia does not scream, but I feel like once you've noticed that Franklin's been knocked to the ground, seeing someone grabbing the pink-jacketed child you've been traveling with, that's a pretty easy thing to notice.
I stand up, and Lydia's not, like, the only thing that's supporting Lydia is just my arm around her. Give me the gun.
I draw the gun, and I look like I'm going to set it on the ground and try to shoot Dahamre in the head.
I would like to use Lydia as a shield.
All right, so you gonna shoot or no?
Holy shit.
I mean, I think it really depends on if she gets down fast enough, if that makes sense.
I mean, she's there, I guess. Like, I'm gonna have...
Yeah, but Lydia's a child and Dahamre stood up, right? So...
No. I picked her up by her neck, using my full arm around her neck. So imagine, like...
Yeah, I know, but, like, ducking your head down and lifting the kid up at the same time is probably a pretty difficult thing to do, no?
I mean, I could just twist my body, really, because I just, like,
well,
raise my chest.
I'm not
and stuff
aiming
like that.
for your body, right? I'm trying to shoot you in the head. Those are two different levels.
I mean, they're very specific. We'll see.
I mean, I think that I'm just seeing this wrong, because picking up a child and like
No.
with one
Like,
arm-
she is at chest level, yes, but her head's kind of like next to mine. So I don't know.
Okay,
like, you
okay.
might just be straight up might just be shooting Lydia in, like, her
Okay,
face.
that's not how I was seeing it. That's my bad. Jenner says, "You no, put the fucking kid down."
She's important.
Kostrov. She just like points to the side to like start, going around to flank.
I'm assuming I like knocked over because I tackled Franklin, so I'm not exactly moving right now, right? Because I'm holding Franklin down.
It's more you checked him, I guess. Like, you managed to knock him over. You're not on him. That would have been
Okay.
That would have been like a full success. Managed to knock him
Okay.
to the ground. He didn't fully get to flee.
Okay. So I'm looking at Franklin on the ground, and I'm kind of watching this whole thing unravel right now.
Okay, instead of shooting Dahamre, Jenner's just gonna charge her.
All right.
Not gonna fight with a weapon. Gonna just fight with fists.
Sure. Give me an engage in combat.
I'm still going to use her as I'm going to put this child in between.
22 success.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Give me an act under pressure, Dr. Dahamre.
Oh, man. Partial success. I do it, but I hesitate or delayed. Deal with a complication.
Yeah. So you hold her up, kind of successfully kind of intercept the blow, but you get knocked back some and you lose your grip on Lydia. It is at this exact moment that Lydia, from kind of inside one of the sleeves of her jacket, produces a screwdriver and stabs it into Detective Jenner. Give me an endure injury at 2 for harm.
At 2. 14, partial success.
I'm going to say you receive a serious wound off this one because you have a rusty screwdriver sticking out of you.
That's fair. Is that just... So what is... I just mark a major wound?
Yeah.
Stab. Jenner, like, fully surprised, stumbles back away from Lydia to, like, one knee.
Can I attempt to go for the gun?
Yeah, give me an act under pressure.
Tight.
I'm going to try to resist, but I am distracted.
Partial success, 10.
Also give me an act under pressure, Detective Jenner.
Act under pressure. 11, partial success.
You get there slightly before Dr. Dahamre does. But you both kind of have hands on it. You just have a slightly better kind of grip on it.
I love this scene. Like, Jenner is very distracted, like, with one hand on the holster, trying to keep the gun down while also holding a hand out to, like, keep Lydia at bay. I mean, Jenner's going to try to get a hold of Dahamre and use her as a human shield against Lydia.
All right, give me a engage in combat to see if you can grab Dahamre.
11, partial success.
How do you respond to that, Dahamre?
If she's trying to grab me, I'm still going to go for the gun because at that point in time, it's like...
So Yeah, I'm trying to grab you with one hand while my other's on the holster. So I'm trying to do both.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm going to imagine you're just trying to like grab my hair or like my collar
basically.
or something.
Yeah.
Tight. I'm going to fucking start wailing at your face. I'm going to start
fair.
You mean engage in combat?
Oh my god.
Failure. Damn it. This was such a really intense series of rolls. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, I'm like biting my nails.
Kostrov, you're watching your two, I'm not sure what the right phrase is, colleague and, I don't know, companion through this suddenly like devolve into a fight. There's suddenly blood on the ground. Lydia's standing there again, oddly unfazed by everything going on around there. How do you react?
So, do either of them have, I guess, so I know a gun was dropped there.
Yeah,
right?
They're both kind of fighting over the gun, and hands are being thrown, and like Jenner has like a fistful of Dahamre's hair or something, or like grabbed one of her ears or something. Not a full good grip, but like enough that she can kind of get a little leverage going on.
Okay. Well, while that's going on, I know that what's his name is on the ground. So
Yep.
Before I go run over to try to grab the gun from both of them, I am going to stomp on Franklin Mills's ankle so he can't run as just just in case.
All right. Give me an engage in combat.
7 failure.
You don't quite pull it off. Like maybe you stomp on it, but like your heart's not in it or something.
Okay.
He does scream in pain, but he kind of looks at you like, what the fuck?
Okay. All right. Well,
so in response to that, actually, he's going to kick you square in the gut. Give me an endure injury for 1.
Alrighty. 14 partial success.
All right, so you are knocked back towards the melee of all this. Kind of weather the hit, though. You're knocked back towards Detective Jenner and Dahamre fighting on the floor.
Okay.
And Franklin sees this and kind of like starts to move to sprint off again.
I am going to go for the gun and try to shoot Franklin's leg.
All right, give me an act under pressure.
Partial success, 12.
You are now also engaged in the tug of war over the gun as Franklin like starts to kind of like springs to his feet, but also starts to try and like do it a little bit stealthily to get away from you three.
If it helps, when Kostrov goes for the gun, like, I am trying to assist him to get it. I'm not trying to keep him from getting it.
Sure. We'll deal with that in a second. All right, so are you all still fighting over the gun? Or is one of you going to kind of swing at the other one to see if you can knock him off balance or something? Like, how, you're all kind of fighting over a gun, a loaded gun, a very poor choice.
I'm going for the gun because at this point, if Franklin's getting away, I need to take a shot on his leg or something to stop him.
Sure. All right, so we're going to go with this in order. Kostrov, you have the highest of the kind of attempts to get at this gun. You get to go first. You're trying to pull it away, I assume?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it away and pop a shot on Franklin's lower half, if you will.
Let's see an act under pressure.
11 partial success.
Are you also going for the gun, Detective Jenner?
No, I'm gonna Kostrov going for it. I take my hands away so that I can just start beating the Hamre. I just start swinging.
Give me an engage in combat.
12 partial success.
All right. So, Dr. Dahamre, give me an endure injury to see if you kind of weather the hits.
How much harm?
It's 1.
Failure. I rolled a 5. I'm knocked out.
Yeah, so you're knocked out of the tussle. So, Jenner, you managed to successfully punch Dahamre out of this. Kostrov, you have the gun.
For what it's worth, Jenner is not going for non-lethal. She goes for the throat when she punches.
Oh. Honestly, fair. To be quite honest, fair.
I've just been stabbed. I'm wrestling for my gun. All bets are off.
Yeah, so with that in mind, Dahamre, you feel something snap in your neck, like something has gone very wrong.
I try to reach and grab at my neck. Can I move my arms?
You can move your arms, but breathing is getting harder and harder. Kostrov, what do you do with the gun?
Well, like I said, I was. How far has Franklin gotten so far?
He is at the door.
I'm taking a shot at his legs.
Give me an engage in combat.
All right. 14, partial success.
All right, so I got good news and I got bad news.
Okay.
You successfully hit Franklin Mills.
But not in the legs.
But not in the legs. It goes center mass and just blows a hole out of the front of him as he's trying to flee away from you. The following events kind of seem to almost play out in slow motion. He falls to the ground, hits the ground, and there's just kind of a stillness around the ship around you.
So I start trembling. I'm holding the gun, and I'm trembling, and I'm like, I didn't mean to hit center mass. I was going for his legs. And I drop the gun and run over to his body to see if I can stop the bleeding.
There is no helping him. You're seeing the light just fade out of his eyes real quick.
Regardless, I'm panicked trying to help him anyway. And I don't know. I think maybe it's I was moved by Detective Jenner's words before of no, let him rot in prison. He doesn't deserve a quick death, essentially. And I wanted to stay true to my word and prove myself. So I'm trying hard. And like you said, despite the fact that it looks like there's no saving him, I'm trying. I'm trying to cover the wound up. I'm panicking here, trying to cover it, basically try to do first aid as much as I can.
Sure. As trying to do this, Franklin Mills obviously dies. The bullet wound's too big. He was already mostly drowned, type of thing. Detective Jenner, how do you feel about this?
Jenner's just been stabbed, and she looks over at Kostroff and the dead man and the presumably dying Dahamre. And she just kind of calls out the Kostroff as she walks forward to Dahamre on the ground, and she says, "Don't fight it, Kostroff. It'll just be easier for your family if you just say you did it. They're not going to believe you otherwise." And she walks up to Dahamre and looks down at her.
Dahamre's kind of realizing the fact that she's dying. She's kind of grabbing at her neck and freaking out and realizing that she lost. She wasn't able to get to her goal and is now fearful of the repercussions of not being able to be the one who killed Franklin. It's she's already dying, and now she knows for sure that something's going to happen, something with the large lady, and she doesn't know what to do. All her wits and all her intelligence and all her schooling and all her psychological profiling were for nothing. And ultimately, everything's just finally come up to bite her in the neck.
Detective Jenner looks her in the eyes for a second. She says, "No need for both of us to suffer," and puts her boot on the Hamre's neck and just puts pressure until she snaps the neck.
So as you start to do that, something shifts. And Dahamre's gone, Lydia's gone, Franklin Mills is gone, only Detective Jenner and Officer Kostroff are left. And something about the ship seems stable. There's suddenly signage that makes sense pointing towards the exit, normal boating kind of wayfinding around you.
Oh, fuck.
So it takes Kostroff a moment to notice this, because obviously I was in a panic and just kind of just crying, realizing that I was going to get I heard Jenner's words of just admit that you did it. It'll be easier for your family, because I'm just going to, it's just the way to go. My family will be safe, but I'll be in jail, and that'll be that. And so it takes me a second to realize that stuff has changed. And then I look around the room where we are, and just out of curiosity, when you said Franklin Mills disappeared and everyone else, obviously, there was, when I was trying to help him, he was bleeding and all that. Do I still have his blood on him, or is that just gone as well?
The blood is gone, but where the blood was is wet, with water or something like that.
Okay. So I start checking my my clothes, because I'm I should be covered in blood. from trying to help, like, basically all the bodies we've been trying to help today, because I mean, we had the other people who were with us when we came on the ship and everything else, and so all of a sudden it's just gone, and I'm like freaking out for a moment. So I'm looking around and I look towards Jenner. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Am I like still bleeding from where I was stabbed?
Yes. But the screwdriver is gone.
I just hobble over to Kostrov. I don't even answer him. I like take my gun out of his hand.
Oh, I don't have it. I dropped it when I ran over to...
Oh, I'll pick up my gun and hobble over to Kostrov and just start leading him out of the ship.
Well, before we even we start to hobble out, I actually am like, hold on. You're like, we gotta like dress this. So like I try to like bandage up with whatever like my shirt's left over to try to like close the wound up at least, or at least bandage so it can just stop bleeding.
I've had worse. Kostrov, I gotta get to a hospital. I probably gotta see if I'm up to date on my tetanus shots.
Okay, but let's at least stop the bleeding, man. Like,
okay, yeah, you're right.
So I'll bandage him up, and I'm like, okay, and I'll throw him over. Like, I'll put one arm over my shoulder. I'm like, I'll help you out. Let's get out of here.
All right, let's get the fuck out of here.
And yeah, we'll just start following. I'll just start following signage, and yeah.
So you make your way out?
Yep.
All right, so towards the exit, sitting on just kind of a bench in the hallway, you see a small, pale boy sitting there just looking malnourished and terrified. He's dressed in slightly oversized sweatpants and just kind of sitting there almost like he's expecting you, but also he's got marks on him, like burns and kind of like scratch marks.
Kid's name is William, right?
Yeah.
I look over at Jenner and I'm like, you can see him, right?
Yeah.
Do I recognize William?
Yeah, you would recognize William enough based on everything you've come across.
Okay. It takes a second for me to realize that this is William, and I'm like, oh my God, William?
Kind of nods and he goes, I don't know what happened. She let me go. She said something about how drowning in his own blood was enough to qualify, I guess. Kind of looks at Detective Jenner. She said because it was your gun, that was good enough in her view.
Oh. Okay, kid. Look, you don't want to talk about anything like that.
I don't want to talk about any of this ever again.
Don't.
Can we go home? Can we get out of here?
Yeah. Let's go.
And I'll escort William as I'm carrying Jenner on with me as well, and we'll just kind of start walking out.
Yeah, so you successfully navigate your way out of the ship. You make it up to the top, and the world is as it seems. A bunch of hours have passed, though. There are several police cars out there, kind of, and as you emerge, people have a bunch of reactions. Like someone yells, like, "Holy crap, they're coming out of the ship," and stuff like that. Like, you have most definitely missed the have Franklin Mills back by time, but you have William, which is great. Like, you've recovered the missing victim. He is alive somehow. Like, how are you going to explain this to the crowd that's here to collect Franklin Mills?
Detective Jenner will say that because Franklin Mills killed one of his guards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says when we were going through, Franklin found a loose piece of the ship and killed his guard and bolted. Kostrov and I went after him. We got separated from Dahamre, and we had a standoff with Franklin. He got the drop on us, stabbed me with something before we shot him, and injured. He fled and tried to swim away through the bay, but I mean, he was hit fatally. Tried to swim up through the bottom of the ship.
What are you doing through this, Kostrov? You supporting this? Like, you trying to help?
I'm trying to I'm holding him up just so Jenner can get his statement across, and as soon as Jenner's done, I'm going to say that's all we're going to say for now. I've got to get him to ER, hospital or something. So that's all we're going to say at this time. Please let us by. This man is injured. We need to get him some help.
Yeah, so give me a helping with your charisma, because you were trying to help talk through this one.
Okay. Partial success.
All right. Detective Jenner, give me a influence others with a +1.
10 partial success.
All right, so maybe they believe you, maybe they don't. Like, it's a plausible enough story for now. Like, at the same time, probably someone in the police department's reaction is good fucking riddance. Like, Franklin Mills was scum, he got what he deserved, or something regressive like that, and they let you through, and they put William in a car. Do you insist on traveling with William, or do you allow them to kind of separate you two? Or I guess you two from him?
I am willing to separate because I want to go to the fucking hospital.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Jenner to make sure that they're okay, and then I'll try to follow up with William. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with Jenner for the time being. Yeah.
So EMTs get called. They kind of put William into his own kind of situation. He's a minor and whatnot, so it makes a certain amount of sense. EMTs show up. They load you into the back of an ambulance. Like, no rush, you're in no critical condition. They get Jenner into a situation where she's not going to bleed out there, and they head off towards the hospital. As you're driving, kind of the driver's fiddling with the radio station and kind of suddenly seems to land on Christian gospel music of some kind. Jumping back to Dr. DeHamre.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You are seated at a uncomfortably high table back in the Mills residence. Martha Mills is standing there preparing something in the sink, and she goes, "Truly is a shame what happened to you, Caitlin. Do you know why you wound up here?"
Oh my God. Please. Just let me go, please. No, I don't. Why am I here? Please, just let me go. Please.
Why couldn't you be more like your friends? They delivered Franklin. She gestures over into the corner where Franklin is facing the corner in a chair that's a little bit too big for him.
I tried. I was trying. I was almost there. And then I got shot. I asked you to help me, and you didn't help me.
Just kind of shakes her head and slops something on a plate and brings it over to you and puts it down in front of you. It is quite obviously Franklin Mills' right hand, roasted. And she kind of leans in close and goes, "Now you're going to finish everything I put in front of you. And then the real fun begins."
Oh my God. Please let me go.